Greetings and welcome to the next review in our mid-2018 video review series. Today I'm going to look at a cigar that would be fairly familiar with cigar enthusiasts, but not so much with people that are new to Cuban cigars. That is the San Cristobal de la Habana El Principe. Now the name itself comes from the old name for Havana, and I guess is a homage to Christopher Columbus coming to Cuba in the late 15th century. The marker was founded in 1999. It's not related to the pre-revolution marker of the same name. There's four vitolas in this marker. The El Moro, the El Principe, the La Fuerza, and the La Punta. And all four of those cigars are named after forts that traditionally were built to as military forts to protect Havana in the past. Of these four, the El Moro, being a Parcos, is a 49 ring gauge by 180. It's not quite the size of a double Corona, 49 ring gauge by 194, but anyway, that cigar hasn't been seen since around 2014. So we can safely say that there are three main vitolas in the San Cristobal de la Habana marker, and I believe that this cigar, this El Principe, is the one that is the highest selling out of those three. I'm going to go ahead and light this up. While I do that, I just wanted to bring to your attention that this cigar, this El Principe, is a Menudo, 42 ring gauge by 110 millimeters. Now, it's considered obviously a small cigar due to its ring gauge and its length, and this size, 42 ring gauge by 110, a Menudo size, or the slightly smaller Perla size, which is 40 ring gauge by 102 mil, so a third of an inch less. It's only on 4 inches, whereas this is 4 1/3. That's factory name for that size 40 ring gauge by 102 is a Perla. So if you hear the word Menudo, Perlas, they're the factory names for these cigars. Menudo being 42 ring gauge by 4 1/3 inch or 110 millimeters, and Perlas being 40 ring gauge by 102 millimeters or 4 inch. I got to admit to you, I do very much love this Menudo cigar. It's a constant staple in my humidor, and actually, while I'm speaking, I'm thinking, gee, I'm a bit low on these, and I need to top up. And as cigar smokers, and for those of us who enjoy Cuban cigar smokers, I think we can all relate to that. We tend to have our 3 or 4 or 5, 6, maybe 7 cigars that you always have in your humidor out reach, and this certainly is one of mine. Now, for its size, I guess you can expect to smoke it within about 25 to 40 minutes if you smoke it slowly. I tend to average around 30 to 35 minutes when I smoke. That's the time frame I look for when I smoke this type of cigar. When I think of Menudos and Perlas, and there's a number of them, because unlike Coronas, some petite Coronas, Coronas Grandes, some of those longer sizes that are in the 42 ring gauge or thereabouts, or even Corona Gordas, some Corona Gordas, This Vitola, this size, isn't a size that Habanos SA has really deleted in the last 20 years. So there's a number of them around. So going through some of them off the top of my head, hopefully I can remember nearly all of them. You've got the Bolivis Corona Junior, the Kiba Secretos, which is a Maduro Rapid cigar, the Kiba Siglo 1, I guess you might include the Cuava de Vinos as a small cigar, but not a Menudo or Perla, but because of its perfecto shape. But yeah, it's 40 ring, 3 ring gauge by 101. The Hoya de Monterrey, La Joya de Depere, H. Upman Half Corona, which is smaller still at 44 ring gauge, but really it's smaller still at 90 millimeters, and represents a new type of group of cigars that Habanos SA has recently released, including this next one, the Monte Cristo Media Corona, which is the same dimensions as the H. Upman Half Corona. The Monte Cristo number 5, Partagas Short, Romano 1 is Small Club Corona, San Cristobal Principe, which is the one I'm smoking today, Trinidad Reyes, and the Rafael Gonzalez Perlas. So there's a number of these smaller cigars around. And I would, at my best educated guess, say that by far the two most popular cigars in terms of sales, the ones that get the most attention would be the Partagas Shorts. I'd say that would be the number 1 cigar in this sort of size, and the one behind that might be the Monte Cristo number 5. But I'm not too sure if one is one or the other one's two, but I'd say they're the two most popular. And the other one that's equally popular, although I don't think it's as old as, definitely not as old a release. It's only a recent release, the H. Upman Half Corona. I don't think the San Cristobal El Principe gets as much attention, as much love, and I think through no fault of the cigar, it's a great cigar, and I'm not going to further reasons why I think that is. But if you're familiar with Cuban cigars, there's 27 brands or markers, and 7 of them are global brands. Hoya de Monterrey, H. Upman, Monte Cristo, Cohiba, Hoya de Monterrey, Monte Cristo, H. Upman, Cohiba, Partagas, Romeo and Julieta, and Jose El Piedra. Those 7 brands are the ones that most people that maybe aren't too familiar with cigars, they are aware of those brands. This San Cristobal de la Habana is a niche brand, along with the Cuava and the Trinidad, and as such they don't have as much attention. People don't know about this sort of marker, are not aware of these cigars. Through the first third, when I get when I light an El Principe, and I've lit up many over the years, I tend to look for cocoa, a combination of a San Cristobal cocoa coffee that's different to, say, a Monte Cristo cocoa coffee, and that is because of the blend of the molasses or the sweetness. Some people might think of it as like a pancake type maple syrup type flavor to describe the sweetness. I think of it as molasses. That's really what I'm looking for, that sweetness with that coffee and cocoa. And I certainly have that here. Plenty of gorgeous smoke. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there and smoke through the first half, come back into the second half, and give some more thoughts about this cigar. So I've smoked through to I guess, the second half, and construction, as per normal, has been pretty much faultless. That's one of the reasons why I love the San Cristobal de la Habana El Principe. I think it's a cigar that there's not too many cigars I could say this in regards to Cuban cigars, but if you're going to buy blind, this is one of the cigars that you would buy blind. I think they're fairly consistent in their construction, and they're fairly consistent in their delivery of flavors. They tend to come in rapid colors that range from Colorado to more of a darker Colorado Maduro. I find that when they're Colorado Maduro, because darker wrappers tend to have more sweeter flavors, I tend to find that when they're Colorado Maduro, they can be a little bit more spicy, but not always. And personally speaking, I really don't favour El Principes in regards to the wrapper colour if they're Colorado rapid, or if they're more darker towards the Colorado Maduro. It really doesn't bother me at all. I think the variance that I get in the flavours is whether or not there's more of an intensity of spice in there, and this has only got a little bit of spices, which is exactly where I like it. And there's plenty of smoke per draw. And when it's like this, I got to say, I'm less inclined to want to retrohale it. Anyway, I'll give it a go. It's quite reasonable through the retrohale, but there is a lot of smoke, a lot more smoke than I would want to retrohale through my nose. Great ash. But let me reiterate, and one of the reasons why I did this review, if you're a Cuban cigar enthusiast, and you know about these menudos, these perlas, these small cigars, and if you're inclined to go for Monte Cristo 5s or Partagas shorts, that's fair enough. They're fantastic small cigars. There's a reason why they sell so much. They're fantastic. They're great. Even the H. Upmann Half Corona. But I would recommend give this El Principe a try, especially if you have a palate that's more on the sweeter side. And the other thing I wanted to say is these small cigars, they tend to be more intense in their strength or their flavour. But I find that the El Principe, unless it's spicy, tends to satisfy me in regards to being regularly medium mild, not too bad in its strength. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it. Love, see, as you can see, the construction is great. Look how long that ash is on a menudo. It's brilliant. There you go. I've just ashed into the ashtray again, hence why I have it in front of me. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I look forward to the next review in the mid-2018 video review series. Until then, happy smoking.